Today we're going to talk about setting, why it matters, and how we can use it to our advantage as writers. He must shape simultaneously in an expanding creative moment his characters, plot, and setting, each inextricably connected to the others. He must make his whole world in a single, coherent gesture, as a potter makes a pot. Just as our characters shouldn't be static, neither should the setting. We don't want our settings to be drab either. Sure, you can pick a random setting just to get it over with and start with your story, but wouldn't it be better to make the setting an active part of the story? Let's look at the ways a setting can enhance your work. Setting as antagonist. Who said villains have to be people? The setting can fight against your hero just as easily as another character can. In fact, the setting often has an advantage on people because it is so vast. It can throw roadblocks whenever you need to. It can reach beyond your main character and affect everyone in the story. Think about Jurassic Park. Sure, you have people who are villains, who've created the dinosaurs, but you also have a landscape or a park that is constantly a threat. It keeps the tension high throughout the entire story. Your setting can be a hidden partner for your characters. As much as we need the character to experience crisis and conflict throughout the story, you also have to give your reader hope that they can succeed. And when you're really stuck, sometimes the setting can provide some help for your character too. In this case, of course, a Harry Potter reference, but in the castle that they live in, or they go to school in, there's a room of requirement, a place where whatever they need will come to them. Consider letting your setting help your protagonist. Let the setting reflect your character's personality. One of the toughest challenges as a writer is to avoid the ever-popular information dump. But instead of saying a character is obsessed with the 80s, you could show their bedroom stuffed with Care Bears and cassette tapes. In this case, in the movie Juno, we have a very quirky character who likes a lot of older things. And one glimpse of her bedroom will show us that, whether it's the hamburger old-fashioned phone or the posters on the wall. Let your setting do some of the heavy lifting in terms of revealing your character's traits. The setting can be an excellent way to foreshadow what's to come and also set the mood. Edgar Allan Poe was the master of this, constantly creating very creepy and unsettling backgrounds. Consider hinting to the reader what is to come with the setting, or better yet, you could misdirect them. Let them think one thing and surprise them with another. As much as I'm not a fan of horror movies, they are very, very good at setting up foreshadowing and using the background to help them. In this example, Annabelle shows that this is not just a regular child's room, but instead it's very eerie and disconcerting. No one would look at this room and think a happy story was on its way. Ultimately, throughout this week, I'd like you to consider ways that you can use setting to your advantage. Think about describing an extraordinary place in a very ordinary way, and the flip, take something ordinary and describe it in a way we've never seen before. On the left, I really like this quote by Carmen Maria Machado. Places are never just places in a piece of writing. If they are, the author has failed. Setting is not inert. It is activated by point of view. And then to the right, I pulled a few quotations from stories and books that I thought really powerfully compelled with setting. The first by Neil Gaiman, who's a fantastic author if you haven't checked him out. The house smelled musty and damp, and a little sweet, as if it were haunted by the ghosts of long-dead cookies. What a neat description. The language really speaks to setting up an uncomfortable setting. Rainwater diluted redness created a pink death, his matter mixing through mud and grass. Again, no one is going to read that and think you're headed to rainbows and happy places. And finally, it was raining again the next morning, a slanting gray rain like a swung curtain of crystal beads. Sometimes all you need to do is just paint a beautiful picture for your reader, and they'll be engaged.